This evening Yin Yoga class. And as I mentioned earlier, we might need a couple of things for our practice. They can be a form of blocks or books, maybe a blanket towards the end, and maybe a couple of pillows would be good for some of the posture to have some support, especially on the back. But as I mentioned, let's begin the practice by coming very slowly into our back and let the whole body rest for a moment into your mat. Once you have found that position, see if you need to wiggle your body a little bit to find the most comfortable place for it to finally settle in. Let all the tension go away by taking a deep exhale through your mouth. Inhaling again. And releasing fully through your mouth. Allow the body to settle down. The breath to become slow, gentle, and soft. Take a few minutes here for yourself to connect and ground, to listen, to become present. Allowing the inhalations to enter naturally through the nose, and exhalations to flow out of your nostril into the room around you. Long, deep inhales, long, deep exhales. Now stay where you are. Keep your eyes closed. And I would like to mention that today's practice, we're going to begin by practicing a very gentle and simple pranayama exercise, which is called Samma Vritti Pranayama, which means equal breathing. So I'm going to turn a little bit lower the music so then we can focus more on the breath. And now, we're going to slowly start connecting to ourselves, to feel our body. And Samavriti Pranayama is a very simple exercise that basically wants to balance the inhales and the exhales. So think about when you take a deep inhalation, try to make the breath long and deep, maybe feeling first the belly rising, the rib cage expanding, the chest inflating. And when you exhale, you feel the chest deflating, the rib cage shrinking, and at the end, the belly goes in. So now we start making the breath longer and deeper, but moving consciously from the belly to the rib cage and then into our chest. And as we exhale again from the chest, the breath goes out into rib cage, and finally the belly moves in. And now in order to make this breath equal, we can use a number. So we can find a number and we're going to use it to count when we inhale and when we exhale. So you can choose a number for yourself. I always recommend to begin maybe with 3 or 4. If you feel comfortable to make the breath longer, maybe you can use 5, 6, or even 8. So start by taking a deep inhale, counting maybe to 4, 3, 2, 1. On exhalation, we count again for 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now try to continue with this rhythm by your own. If you feel you need to make the breath longer, you increase the count. If it becomes too much, then make it shorter. But it's important that we focus on that movement of equalizing the breath entering through the body and at the same time exiting out of you. And as you keep bringing the balance into your breath, try to focus as well on inflating first from the belly to the rib cage, all the way to the chest. And when the breath comes out, the chest deflates, the rib cage moves in, the belly drops down. See if you can do here 10 more breaths like this. Continue practicing Samavriti, equalizing the inhales with the exhalations. If at any point the mind distracts itself, bring it back to this moment. And see if you can do the 5 more rounds of Samavriti, making the breath equal between the inhales and the exhales, gently and slowly. And now maybe take one more deep inhale through the nose, and this time on the exhalation, let the breath go out of your mouth, slowly into the room. Allow the breath to remain deep, but releasing the count so you can allow the breath to find again a bit more of a natural rhythm. See if you want to slowly start bringing movement to the fingers, to the toes, so we slowly wake up the body. Maybe we want to move the hands, maybe we want to move the feet. Maybe it feels good to move the head to the side. See if you want to bring the arms above your head to lengthen your whole body. Reaching yourself away, feet from hands, and then releasing everything down. Allow the knees to slowly start bending. Bring them close to your chest. And see if you're going to give yourself a nice big hug. Maybe moving here into your lower back if that feels good. Allow the legs to move together, or you can also use one hand on each leg and allow them to move separately. Notice how the lower back feels, how the legs and the hips move as one. Take 5 more breaths for you here. And then slowly come again to the middle, into a gentle static position. And from here, allow yourself to turn completely to one side of your body. Once you turn to the side, find the hands connecting to the floor and help yourself lift your torso so we can all sit together in a comfortable position. Now, take a moment to sit nice and straight. See if you want to sit on top of your blanket. If you have your pillow, maybe you want to find your pillow to make it feel even more comfortable. We're going to sit here to create an intention to sing an Om, and then we can begin the practice for this evening. So take a moment to settle down. Find your spine lengthening. Allow the eyes to gently close. Make sure your chin feels parallel to the ground, so the back side of the neck is long. The shoulders relax away from the ears. There's no tension on your arms at all. They just relax on top of your legs. And as you keep in this place of silence, of stillness, let's slowly bring the palms together in front of the heart center. With the thumbs connecting into the center of the heart, we try to listen here to our heartbeats, that vibration through the sternum. And as we find that place of connection, let's take a deep inhale again through the nose. And a long release out of your mouth. One more time, inhaling deeply. And a long exhale to release. And now that we feel a little bit more free of tension, use this moment of connection to your heart center to bring an intention for this evening's practice. Find a positive affirmation that can carry you this evening and maybe tomorrow as well. And from this place of connection into the heart center, let's sing together one Om to seal this practice. So take a deep inhale for Om. With your next exhalation, let yourself bow the head to your heart center. Let yourself surrender to your practice, to your intention. Then slowly lift the head nice and straight and allow the hands to release down on top of your legs. If you still have your eyes closed, maybe gently allow them to blink and welcome the light into your eyes. Now, as we begin our gym practice, I would like to mention that the same exercise we used at the beginning is samavriti, which means this equal breathing. Between the inhales and exhales, we can bring this type of breathing at any point during the practice. I will remind you as well when we are in the postures, in case you have forgotten, but maybe try to bring in that count and do feel that inhales and exhales moving in the same rhythm will also bring a lot of relaxation into our bodies. So I'm gonna put a little bit more of the music in higher. Can you all hear? Dry, can you give me a thumb up? Yeah, perfect. Awesome. So I would like to mention that today's practice, we're gonna do a chakra balancing practice. So we're gonna begin with our foundations. So we're gonna connect to the Muladhara, to our root chakra. And from that position, we're gonna keep bringing that energy slowly up to finish in the crown of our head. So for our first Yin Yoga practice, for our first posture for the Muladhara chakra, which connects to the roots, that connection to the ground, I will add that we come first into a tabletop position where we connect the hands and the shins into the floor. Now, our roots as human beings are basically our feet. So see if you can tuck your toes on the back of your mat. And then very slowly allow the weight of your body to start coming on top of your toes. You can walk with your hands and you will feel your butt connecting to your heels. Make sure that the pinky toe is also pointing forward. Sometimes the pinky toe is pressed and squished to the back. Now, you can always keep your hands forward if that feels too much. If you feel you need to increase the tension on the toes, you can slowly walk the hands on your thighs and sit completely straight above your toes. If at any point this becomes too much on your toes, then allow some of the weight to come forward on the hands as they connect to the ground. So we're gonna stay here for about 2 minutes. So try to find a position that feels good for your body. And again, maybe take a moment to connect back to that Samavriti Pranayama, that equal breathing. Even maybe closing your eyes. And allow the breath to find its balance, the same rhythm between the inhales and exhales. We have 1 minute left. And if at any point you feel the tension on the toes becomes too much, then always allow the body to lean a bit more forward, releasing some of the tension, maybe connecting the fingers and tips into the floor. And again, returning back to that balance of the breath. By practicing breath awareness, we ground ourselves into the present moment. We don't let the mind to go away. We bring it back here to observe what is taking place, to make us fully present. We take our last 5 breaths now. And now on the next exhalation, allow yourself to slowly start coming forward, placing the hands on the floor. Walk yourself a bit more to the front until the hands come right on the shoulders. Let the toes lift away from the floor, keeping on the air for a few seconds. And if you feel the need to tap them against the floor, tap them gently on the ground. If you feel here also you need to move anything somewhere else, maybe you feel the spine needs a little bit of movement, maybe same with the head. Use this opportunity on your tabletop position to release any tension through the movement. Great. Because the feet are not only the soles, but it's also the top part of the feet. Let's try now to create space in the front. So think about bringing your knees together and then very slowly see if you can sit on top of your ankles. So now, if this feels very uncomfortable, I welcome you to place a blanket maybe under your ankles, the top part of your feet. That maybe is a good option. If you feel you want to increase the tension and find more stretch, the option is that we can use the hands to slightly lift the knees off the floor, and then we will increase the stretch. Now, keeping the hands active here to hold this doesn't give us a full Yin kind of type of class. So we can find a block, maybe a book or even the pillow, and we can place it right on the shin. So we will feel, okay, this elevates the legs a little bit from the ground and give us the space to stretch a little bit more into the top part of the feet. The hands can relax then on your legs. They can be on the side of the body, touching the ground if you need more support. Try to find the level of the posture that adapts now to what your body needs. And again, if you can, see if you can slowly close your eyes. Connect to that feeling of your roots grounding towards the floor. The Muladhara chakra represents that connection to the Mother Earth. That's why we need to keep attention to how we connect to the ground, how we walk, how we stand. Allow the breath to become again equal between the inhales and the exhales for our last minute on the posture. Observing the sensations, remaining present with our breath. We take now our last 5 inhales and exhales on the posture. And then again, we take one more deep inhale. Maybe a long release throughout of the mouth. If we have a prop under our legs, we can maybe lean a little bit back and then slowly use the hands to allow the props to move to one side completely. Then allow the knees to come back in towards the floor. Shift your torso again forward on the hands, lift the hips away from the heels. And again, you might feel the need to maybe lift your feet a little bit away from the floor to release some of the tension. If you feel you want to tap again the feet against the floor, do it gently. And again, you might feel tension move through a different part of the body. So maybe you feel, okay, I want to move again into my spine, into my head, into my shoulders. Take here 3 long breaths for yourself. Just allowing the tension to move away, that awareness to keep cultivating within. Great. Now, as we have created space on the toes, I would like to move now into our next posture that actually still works on the Muladhara chakra, which is Uttanasana, a forward fold. So from your tabletop position, see if you can tuck the toes on the back of your mat, press from your hands, and then slowly lift your knees like if you were coming into a downward facing dog. Keep your knees bent. We're not going to come fully into the dog. We're just going to let the legs and the feet to walk to the hands and the hands to walk back to the feet. Just that we come into a full forward fold. Now, the knees can be bent at all times. If the hands are not reaching the floor, we can find the bolster, we can find a pillow and place the hands on top of the bolster. If some of you want to find more traction and more extension of your spine, you can also hold your elbows. And at any point, allow the head to drop down. Now, this might feel intense on the backside of our legs, so you can play with that tension on the backside by bending the knees more or extending them more. So find a comfortable position where you can stay. As we're going to stay on this first forward fold for about 3 minutes. Let the head feel fully heavy, relaxing towards the floor. And allow yourself to come back one more time to that slow breathing. To return to the balance between the inhales and the exhales. We have 2 more minutes. And as we rest into this posture, can you bring the awareness for a moment into the soles of your feet? And feel how your foundation, your roots connect to the ground. Which parts do they have more pressure and more connection? Do you feel that weight on the top part of the feet? Maybe you'll feel it on your heels. Just observe what it is. The way you connect to the ground. The way you connect to Mother Earth. We have 1 minute left. Allow your body to feel even heavier, releasing the tension through the upper body, finding space between your vertebrae, allowing the head to drop down towards the ground, the shoulders to release all the tension that they normally carry because we are holding all the time the arms in different positions. Let that tension go fully away of your body. And let the breath be the element that helps you release the tension. We're going to take now the last 5 breaths. We take one more deep inhale through the nose here. And a long exhale out of your mouth. Maybe start becoming aware of the fingers. Maybe moving your hands a little bit. Maybe moving a little bit into your head. Allowing the body to shake a little bit sideways or up and down if that feels good. Allowing the knees to bend more or extend, whatever feels good. Take a moment here of mindful, gentle, slow movements. And I would like to say that from here we're going to move directly into our next chakra, which means Swadhisthana, or the sacral chakra. So in your hanging position, see if you can allow the feet to open a bit more. Maybe the toes turn slightly out, and then with the connection of your hands on the floor, we start slowly squatting all the way down, allowing the hips to drop in towards the ground. Come into Malasana, the yogi squat. Now take a moment to find a position that feels good. See if you need to realign your feet. See if you need to make them more open or more closed. If squatting on the floor is difficult, you can find a support of a blanket under your heels. Maybe in a book, or a block right under your sitting bones might be an option. Now take a moment to settle first into your yogi squat. And I would like to mention, because we're in a gym practice, we hold no tension, so we come into a passive yogi squat. So if you have some props, like maybe books, or maybe a big pillow or a bolster, maybe it might be useful. You want to maybe place them in front of you, in between your legs slightly to the front. So it will become a support for your forehead. Take a deep inhalation wherever you are. Make the palms to face up. On exhalation, let the head drop down, chin towards the chest, round your spine. And you might feel maybe the forehead wants to come forward in between your legs. Maybe for some of you, you might find the support of something for the forehead. If you don't have the support, the head can be also totally fully relaxing down towards the ground. That's also an option. Let the weight of your own body bring space, bring relaxation. And as we connect here with our sacral chakra, Swadhisthana, that's where our creative energy develops. It connects us to our feelings of sexuality, of human connection, of sharing. And through that comes the creativity, the insights to connect and grow. So we're gonna stay here a bit less than 4 minutes from now. Allow the body to keep relaxing down towards the floor. Allow yourself to become again fully conscious of your breath. And as we fall forward, you might feel there's a little bit less space in the area of the belly and the rib cage to expand when we breathe in. But see if nonetheless you can still feel the expansion on those areas. Come back to Samavriti Pranayama and try to equalize your breath. Allowing the inhales to become as long as the exhalations. We have 3 more minutes from now. And if at any point keeping the head hanging forward feels too much, you can always bring the head slightly straight in alignment with your spine. But keep the arms fully relaxing in between your legs, with the back side of the hands touching the floor. cultivating the Yin principles of stillness and relaxation that allows ourselves to go deeper into the connective tissue, the fascia matrix that surrounds every part of our body. And as we relax and we allow the body go deeper into these places, we bring with the posture, with the asana itself, tension to these areas. Through that tension, which can be in the form of a stretch or a compression into the tissues, we activate it, we make it again more alive. Breaking the barriers and the obstacles, allowing it to become more fluid, spacious, and elastic. That's the magic of Yin Yoga, where we just let our own weight, our own body, through relaxation, to access those deeper layers of ourselves. We have the last 2 minutes now. Bringing always our attention, our mind back into this moment, into our experience, to the equalizing of the breath, to observing the sensations. We have 1 minute left now. Keeping attention on our breath, we take now the last 5 deep inhales and exhales here. We take 1 more deep inhale through nose. And again, long release out of the mouth. If our palms are still facing up, we turn them facing down. If the head is still down, we keep it heavy. We slowly start unrolling the spine, lifting from the base of the spine towards the crown of the head. As we come up, we can take the hands behind the back into the floor, and then we can allow the sitting bones to connect to the floor. Maybe we can take the feet a little bit forward. That feels good. Taking a gentle rebound position where we just observe the change. This rebound can be fully static. If some of you would like to come into mindful slow movement where you want to feel the changes by moving slowly the legs to the side, like if you were windscreen wide shields of a car. Try to remain within you, fully focused on your own experience. From here, we're going to move into our next posture, which still works in the Swadhisthana sacral chakra, which means the dragon fly. So we're going to allow the legs to open wide. So how open we place them is not really important. It's more that it feels comfortable to sit here. If sitting on a prop, maybe a blanket or a book or something, give a little bit more release into the lower back, that's very welcome. Now allow the legs to be fully comfortable and soft, so there's no tension. If the feet want to flop to the side, that's what they need to do. And again, we can have props in front of us for supporting the forehead if we want to. If we just want to have the head just hanging, that's also totally fine. Take a moment to lengthen the inhalation, feel yourself growing towards the crown of the head. And with exhalation, as the chin drops down to the chest, we start finding that beautiful curve of the spine. We slowly start allowing the hands to walk forward, to come slowly into towards the ground. Maybe finding a support for the forehead if we want to. Or just keeping the head hanging. Can you bring your palms to face up once you have found your position to make sure we relax into the hands? We bring relaxation into our arms. Take a moment to settle into the posture. Finding your dragonfly. Finding space into the area of the hips that connects into the sacral area. The energetic center of creativity. Allow yourself again, become present with your breath. We're going to stay here for about 3 more minutes. And again, take this opportunity to find again that balance of the breath. That equal length between the inhales and exhales. Can you feel the tension in the form of stretch or compression going deeper to that connective tissue? And you feel at any point the body is slowly releasing forward. So maybe sometimes we need to realign ourselves. Maybe the hands want to walk a bit more to the front. Maybe we need to shift the prop slightly forward to allow the space to keep developing. Becoming aware of that edge of comfort. One of the principles of Yin Yoga, where we always have to stay vigilant, observant of how we keep that tension flowing inside of us. Avoiding the posture to become too comfortable where there's no tension anymore. Or too intense and painful where we can't stay in the posture anymore. That means we need to modify, reduce, find a prop to find more comfort. We move now into our last minute. And in this last minute, as we're in the Swadhisthana sacral chakra, can you think about the times where you've been creative in the last week? Any sorts of inspiration that came to you, any project or any time you spend creating something, doesn't have to be physical. Many of the creations sometimes happen only inside of our mind. But can you bring some of those moments here to this moment? Reminding to ourselves that we're always creative human beings. We're on this constant path of evolution. And creativity is one of our main pillars that sustains our life. We take now the last 5 breaths here. And then again, a deep inhale through the nose. Long release out of the mouth. See if you can bring the palms to face down. And as you keep your head heavy, start slowly walking with the hands, lifting your torso. Coming all the way up. And at the very end, allow the head to lift. If it feels good to take the hands behind your back, just to relax a little bit into the back. Let yourself sink into your shoulders. Let some of the tension release as we bring the weight back into the hands. We come again to the rebound, the place where we assess the changes. Where we let the body keep the space in the connective tissue. And again, we can stay static. If some of you want to move very slowly and mindfully, maybe start moving into your body, into the torso, into the head, shoulders, maybe into the feet. Maybe the feet want to start coming a little bit closer to the center. See if you can bring the hands under your knees, allow them to bend, and then slowly bring the feet into the floor. Now, if you were sitting into a prop, I recommend you to place it to the side. Now we're going to come into the 3rd chakra, the Manipura chakra, our solar plexus. So, for this chakra, we're going to come into a spinal twist, which means we're going to come all the way down into the mat to rest on the back. And we're going to rotate into the spine by using our legs to create space in the area of the abdomen to bring activation to our solar plexus. You can use a prop for support as you twist to the side. It sometimes feels good to have a little bit of space between the ground and the legs, so then the legs are not trying to come to the floor, but they can stay a little bit higher. See if you can lift the knees towards your chest. Maybe give yourself first a gentle hug. See how that feels again into your lower back. And then from here, keep your knees bent, relax and let the arms touch the floor. You can find them like a cactus shape with the elbows bent or the arms extended like a T. And now take a deep inhalation to the center and exhalation. Allow the legs to drop to one side in any way you would like. Sometimes some people prefer to have knees against each other. Some people prefer one leg on top of the other, crossing on the thighs, or just turning with one leg and then the other leg is extended towards the bottom of your mat. So in this way, finding the variation that fits today, that fits for your practice. You can keep your head to the center, you can turn it away from the legs to the other side, and look into that hand or to that elbow. But then try to keep your eyes closed. Allow yourself to settle into the asana again. And we're going to stay 3 minutes on each side. Maybe first becoming aware of how the posture, this twisting motion on the torso, changes the way we breathe. And we also notice as we twist here on the spine, we create a twisting motion as well on the abdomen, on the area of the solar plexus. Can you feel that twisting, that pulling in the area of the belly button? Now you feel it on the level of the skin. Maybe some of you feel it more internally on the level of your organs being squeezed. and push to one side. We have 2 more minutes now. Allowing always the breath to be our companion, to guide the experience. And as we move now into our last minute, can we again allow the breath to become equal between the inhales and exhales? Bringing that balanced rhythm that calms and soothes the mind. We take now our last 5 breaths here. And then very slowly with the next inhalation, allow the head first to return to the center. With the next inhalation, allow the legs to come to the middle. If you feel the need to hug them with both hands and move here a little bit into your lower back, you're always very welcome. If you want to relax for a moment on the middle, you can also allow the feet to drop on the floor and the knees to press towards the midline, towards each other. Take 5 breaths into the center before we come into the other side. And then again, see if you need to realign over your spine to be fully centered. See if you want to lift again the feet off the floor, and again find your variation of your twists. Knees against each other, one leg on top of the other one, or the opposite leg extended and the knee turns to the other direction of one bent leg. Take a deep inhale on the center and then allow on the exhalation, find your twist slowly to that other side. Take a moment to settle into the posture. And you have found a good place. Maybe you want to allow the head to turn now to the other direction. And same with the other side, we're going to stay here for 3 minutes. And as we're here in the area of the solar plexus, we're trying to bring energy and activation as we move into this area of the abdomen. The solar plexus is the place of decisions, of willpower, where we find the energy for doing things in our lives. Which makes a lot of sense, because if we really think about it, the area of the solar plexus is also where the digestive system and digestive tract mostly takes place. And that's the area where we draw the energy from the food into our normal functions. So bringing mobility and space into this area has huge impact into our energy levels and the rest of the functions that allow us ourselves to live in a comfortable and healthy state. So try to let yourself here sink deeper. Allow the organs to be moved from press. Allow the skin to be stretched and elongated as well. We have the last 2 minutes now. Coming now into our last minute on this side. See if you can keep in the last minute your awareness totally focused on your breath. Or the equal length between the inhales and exhales. We start taking now our last 5 breaths. And then again a deep inhale through the nose. And long release out of your mouth. Very slowly we bring the head back into the center. And with the next inhalation we bring the legs back into the middle. And again we have 2 options here: to stay static, to hold and hug the knees towards the chest, or bring the feet into the floor and allow the knees to press against each other towards the center. Either in a static, comfortable rebound or a mindful, slow movement. If you have your feet on the floor, allow the feet to lift. And again, everyone, bring yourself to hug the knees into your center. Allow the body again to turn completely to one side. And then find your hands very slowly as support to connect to the ground, to allow ourselves to lift into the torso. Okay, so now we're going to come into our next posture, which is actually a heart melting posture. So we're going to move a little bit higher into the area of the heart, into the Anahata chakra. So for that posture, it will be highly recommended maybe to come on top of hands and knees. If some of you would like to have a pillow, maybe you want to feel a pillow for the support of the forehead or for the front when you come to rest on the ground. So the idea is we keep the hips in alignment with the knees, and then we're going to walk the hands forward. And eventually we're going to let the forehead maybe melt directly on the floor, maybe on a prop for support. Take a moment to settle down here because this is quite intense on the back side of the body. If the tension is too much, you can always walk yourself a little bit back, bring the hips a little bit closer towards your heels, or the opposite. If you want to increase, sometimes you want to allow the body to sink a bit more forward, reaching the arms a bit more to the front. We're going to stay 3 minutes here, creating space in the area of the center of the heart, Anahata. The area of the heart is the place where the feelings of love and compassion can develop. So it is important that we develop this openness on the front, which means we allow our heart to remain open to the world, which in a way may make us vulnerable, but still receptive. With a feeling of compassion, we can engage and connect to people and love them unconditionally. That's the purpose of this center of energy, to develop that unconditional love, not only to ourselves, to others, but also to all sentient beings. Let yourself here melt with the heart towards the ground. We have 1 more minute here. And now I would like that we see if we can try to move from here, from opening the heart, to open the next chakra, which is the throat chakra, Vishuddhi. So if you have a prop on your head, see if you can release the prop, and then you will feel the forehead touches the ground. Now, see if you can walk the hands a bit more forward, and then very slowly start bringing the chin towards the ground. This will create space on the area of the throat. Now, this might be very intense, so we're not going to stay long here. We're going to stay about 1 more minute. We'll try to feel that expansion now, moving from the area of the chest, going deeper into the area of the front part of the neck. Vishuddhi chakra relates to the power and the energy of communication, of expressing who we are. This is also the area where the hormonal system works and develops. So you can imagine all these hormones that are always flowing from this center affect our personality, and in that way also affects the way we express ourselves. So it's important to keep a balance of this area by bringing expansion, bringing tension to release, and find a healthy functioning of this area. Allow yourself to melt here for the last 5 breaths. If the sensations are becoming intense, take deeper inhales and longer exhales. Now, very slowly, take a deep inhale one more time. Long exhale to release. Bring slowly first the forehead into your mat. And then very slowly as you connect with the hands, start walking yourself back. See if you can come back into a tabletop position of your choice. If you feel you'd rather come and sit on your heels for a moment, maybe that feels better for your whole spine. So find a rebound position, either on your tabletop or sitting gently on your heels. Try to notice the sensations of expansion that are still on the front of the body. Take 5 more breaths here for yourself. Great. So we still are on time. Good. As we move from Vishuddhi, we go a little bit higher, and now we're going to try to connect here to the third eye, which is his Anya chakra. So, one of the easier ways to connect to this part is to bring gentle pressure directly into this point. I personally like to come into a comfortable child's pose, which means you have your knees quite wide, and then you make 2 fists, and the fists connect on top of each other. Your elbows are on the ground, and then you bring the forehead really just to press on top of those fists. So then they will bring gentle pressure into the area of the forehead, which is the place of activation for our Anya chakra, the third eye. If 2 fists is too much, you can also do it just with 1, just maybe hold the fist with both hands. So take a moment to find a position where you can settle in and see how that feels. We're going to stay 3 minutes like this, so make it comfortable. See if you can keep your eyes closed. And allow the fists and the shape of your hands to press into that area of the third eye. We keep bringing the energy up through the chakras. And this place is particularly in between the eyebrows. It's the place of visualization, where we start connecting to the higher levels of ourselves. It's the place of insight, where we get the visions of our past, present, and future. And because it's close to the crown chakra, it draws all that information from the top, from the spiritual realm, and connects it to the earth element. So allow yourself to explore that pressure on the forehead, to observe what kind of thoughts it brings for the next 2 minutes. We have 1 more minute left. And if at any point you feel the need to release the forehead directly to the floor to connect it to the earth, allow that to happen. We take our last 5 breaths here. And then taking a deep inhale through the nose. Deep exhale out of your mouth. As you keep your eyes closed, if you still have your fists on the forehead, release the hands towards the floor, palms facing down. And then very slowly, as you keep your head heavy, just slowly start lifting your torso, rounding into your spine, walking with your hands back. Until at the very end, you can lift the head above your hips and sit for a moment nice and straight. Try to keep your awareness in that area of the third eye chakra on the forehead. Feel that activation. And then very slowly, maybe sink into a comfortable seated position. So now we're going to come into our last chakra, which is going to be the crown chakra, Sahasrara. So I recommend you to sit in a comfortable position, and we're going to do a meditation that brings the activation towards the crown of the head. Because most of the postures that actually activate the crown chakra are more active in the terms, for example, of the headstand, or even the rabbit pose, which means try to bring the forehead down, but this is not a very easy posture to hold. So we like that we move here into a gentle meditation practice to bring the awareness to the top. I will make this music a little bit less loud so then we can focus more on the sensations. Beautiful. Now take a moment to find a comfortable seat. If you want to sit on your prop, that's very advisable towards the end. So then you can find the spine elongating a bit more, the chakras aligning towards the crown of the head. Have your hands in a most comfortable place on your legs facing down or facing up. Take a moment to close your eyes. So we're going to try to bring the awareness from the base chakra and bring it all the way towards the crown of the head. So we'll feel the crown chakra at the end opening like a lotus flower towards the sky. So first, maybe take a deep inhale through the nose and a long release out of your mouth. One more time, inhaling deeply and exhale, releasing. Now stay in quietness and in stillness. Let's try to bring again the mind to the base chakra, to the point between the sitting bones. Can you imagine a spiral turning, bringing energy, connecting our roots into the earth as we bring that energy from the Mother Earth into our body. Visualize that movement going from the earth into the base of your chakra. Allow that energy now to move a little bit higher to the area of your genitals, where the sacral chakra is located. Feel that energy from Mother Earth Mother Earth, infusing now the second wheel that starts turning. And as it turns, we feel positive vibrations. We feel sources of inspiration, of creativity. We feel good on our skin, and we allow that creativity to express through us. Allow that energy to keep flowing up, coming out to the area of your navel. And we find as well the navel turning like a wheel. Manipura chakra, which is like our powerhouse, the place where our energy is generated. And we can use it productively in our life, in the decisions we need to make. So feel that energy coming from the Mother Earth, nourishing you, bringing creativity to the sacral chakra, and now coming to the solar plexus to bring this power of decision, to bring a decisive mind, to guide yourself in the path of yoga, in the path of the truth. Allow that energy that fills your abdomen, that fills yourself with strength, to go upper toward this area of your heart. In the middle of the chest, you find that wheel of the Anahata chakra, which brings this power energy into an area of compassion and love, which means whatever we decide to do, we do it for good intentions, for everyone, for all beings. Try to fill yourself with that energy of unconditional love towards yourself, to your family, to everyone that surrounds you. Feel your heart opening, positive and bright. And keep allowing that energy to go a little bit higher now to the area of your throat. And as that wheel starts turning in the Vishuddhi chakra, we feel all that positive energy that comes from the heart being able now to finally express itself. We allow ourselves to express our truth, but we still stay connected to the ground because all the chakras, they move all the way down, and we keep that connection to the earth. To withdraw information from the earth as well, to remind us ourselves of our nature, where do we come from. We keep allowing that energy to go a little bit higher, coming into the area of the forehead, the third eye chakra. And as that wheel starts turning, we allow ourselves to create visions for our life, for the future, to bring insight into our life. To remember that everything is connected. And we have our role here as well. Bring again the energy from the earth, feel it coming up through the base chakra, to the sacral, to the solar plexus, coming to the heart center, going through the throat, into the third eye, and then feel it coming all the way to the very tip of the crown of your head, and opening like a lotus flower, expanding 1,000 petals into all directions, opening towards the sky. Allow that energy to flow up all the way, expanding towards the universe. And at the same time, receive the energy from the universe all the way from the top into yourself. And move it down to the base. Allow the channel to be open. Feel that whole, pure, complete connection between earth and sky. Feel that open gate on the top. Feel that open gate at the bottom of your body. And as we feel that energy traveling towards us, I will add that very slowly, keeping your eyes closed. You can allow yourself either to remain here seated for a longer meditation of your choice. If you would like to start coming into a final Shavasana, just to take a few moments to lay on your back, try to move super mindfully, if you can with your eyes closed. Allow yourself to come slowly into your back, or to stay seated if you prefer. And let yourself find stillness and peace. If you're on the ground, maybe you want to take a deep inhale through the nose. And alone release out of your mouth. One more time, inhaling deeply. And releasing through the exhalations. Allow yourself to slowly become conscious one more time of your own body. See if you want to wiggle toes and fingers, your hand, your feet. See if you feel the need to move the head to the sides, to bring the arms above your head, allowing yourself to stretch in any direction of your choice. And maybe eventually we allow the knees to slowly bend. And we let the whole body turn completely into our right or left side. And make sure you pause there for a couple of breaths. And as you remain with your eyes closed, see if you can find a connection with your hands towards to the floor, and slowly press the floor away and help yourself find a comfortable seated position. Take a moment to sit, connecting to the ground, where you feel at the same time that elongation, that long line across your spine towards the crown. Feeling your heart open to the front. I would like to finish by bringing the palms together in front of the heart center. Reconnecting again to the center of the heart with the thumbs. Reconnecting to the intention of our practice. I would like to finish with one Om, but let's take one releasing breath first to prepare. To take a deep inhale through your nose. And take a deep exhale out of your mouth. Inhaling for on. And with the next exhalation, let the head drop down to your heart center. Let yourself feel love and gratitude towards yourself, towards your body, towards your mind, towards your spirit. Give yourself the biggest of smiles. Namaste. I would like to thank you very much for being here. And I hope and you could enjoy this practice. It's a bit interesting to teach Yin Yoga online, I have to say. But I hope maybe you feel some kind of connection, you feel some of energy flowing in. And if anyone would like to mention something, I'm always happy to hear your voice as well.